So, I've been working on this, right? This controller, this one here. And I've been working on it in Unreal Engine, right? So I did a few videos a couple months back. And I've been working really, really fucking hard on this. Putting all my brainwave energy into this. But I've done it. I've made a breakthrough in the Unreal Engine with this controller to get it supported. It's took a while, but we got there in the end, folks. Single-handed, just me, by myself, with the assistance of Codex, the premium plan, not the £20 a month plan, the £89 a month. Fucking hell, what an expense that has been. But I tell you what, I've made a few things with Codex. I don't see myself going back coding-wise back to that anyway. Coding without Codex is just, yeah, it's shit. But I want to show you what I've been able to create. So if I just hide that away. Right, so as you can see, we've got a level here. Just a simple level. It's if anybody knows any good games out there from back in the day and can recognize this layout, this map, leave a comment. Call it out in the comments and tell us what you think this map could be or what game it's from. But what I want to show you is that we move the mouse and we don't get input. We move the keys, there's no input. But we can use the controller. Real time. Everything still works as intended. One thing you could never do in this game back in the day is, well, stand on the boat, I guess. But everything works. Right now this only just shows basic movement and a jump button. Obviously there's no sounds in here yet. There's a little get out of the map glitch. Yeah, so that works, right? Now that isn't the key part which I want to demonstrate, since I demonstrated this working last time. In fact, what I do want to demonstrate is how we have a complete, almost complete DualSense manager for Unreal Engine for the controller. And right now it's just primitive. This isn't the final look on how it's going to look, but we do get feedback in the system, and it knows which buttons are being pressed. We have multi-trackpad support, analogs, clicks, button presses. We can click the touchpad as well, and it also knows which side button click is being pressed, kind of. If two are being pressed simultaneously, it will know the difference. We've got good multi-touch support as usual. We do have gyro support now in Unreal Engine. So if we have a look here, this gives us live telemetry data from the controller. So as you can see, if we move the controller around, it's pulling the data. lay it flat, and if you take a look at the filtered gyro, that gives us a resting position where things can be calculated from that resting position, so it knows it's 3D position in space. So you can have it resting on an object, or you could have it on an anchor or a clamp, so you can where you rest the controller. We have light bars and LEDs. So if I zoom this in, so you can actually see the level of detail that I've gone into making this with complete reverse engineering software. So we have these two color pickers here. So what we can do is we can pick two colors. So I'll pick that. I'll pick like a cherry red. And for the alternative color, I'll pick a cyan turquoise color. Okay, we have blend modes as well, but blend modes are not fully working yet. Blend modes are meant to work together with other different modes. So for the moment, it's a default of override. So what we can do is, if you're watching the controller, is if we issue the commands, this is through Unreal Engine, so this is inside the engine, so the engine is controlling the controller's lights and stuff like that. So if we go fade, does a fade in. The fade isn't working perfectly yet, but if I bring that closer to the camera, you can see how it fades in the colors. Really, it's supposed to fade in from one color to the other. Now if we click inverted and then click fade, still does the same. We can have a pulse flash, so it pulses between two different colors. We haven't got it quite set up yet for 3 mode fades and 4 mode fades, but that's the idea. So to be able to make multiple color fades, what we do is we will be able to stack layers. So similar to how Photoshop will work, we'll be able to do the same with the lights. We'll be able to stack different patterns on top of each other, which will be really cool in creating different kinds of light communication systems, because our eyes communicate better with light than hearing, because we see light first before we hear it. So we have also flash, which that, if anybody remembers Grand Theft Auto 5, this works perfectly as a demonstration of GTA 5's police light system. So we can even change the colors as well here. So if we go straight red and deep blue, and then we go flash, it changes the colors, as you can see. We can do an interval flash, which flashes at an interval. So it flashes at a specific time. So we can change that interval to say 0.25 seconds and give it a hertz of 6. And then if we do interval flash, it now flashes faster. So that can be used for various mechanics. We also have a 2-color gradient, so it flickers between the different color gradients. Obviously it's not perfect, we need to make sure it's completely perfect before I release it. Obviously we can control the LED masks here. So let me turn the light off there and say we want middle or the left one. We can select that, and that's supposed to be the left one, but it seems to be lighting up both. So we're still working out how to get that working properly, because it's lighting up multiple LEDs instead of single LEDs. We did have it working where each LED would light up, and we could do like a Knight Rider effect where you can scroll the lights across back and forth like it's scanning, which is one of the effects we want to achieve in Unreal Engine, because I think something like that would give some valuable feedback in games as well. So like, say if you've got like a scanning tool, or like for example Ghostbusters, if you're using a scanning tool, you're scanning for ghosts using the meter, and where it does the white thing that goes across left and right. We could do the same thing with the controller, so you can aim the controller in the direction you want to scan, and it'll scan, and it'll give feedback on these lights, and then it'll also indicate on the sidebar lights as well. So those like simple things, simple examples of what you can use this technology for. And that just covers the LED and the light pads. For the touchpad system, we do have the ability to track touchpads. Now, as you can see, it's cross matching as well. So if you put left zone and right zone, you'll see that touchpad 2 point is on the left and touchpad 1 is on the right. But if you do it in the correct order, the left zone is the left zone and the right zone is the right zone. But it depends on which touch is first, which is how it's assigned. So again, touchpad, you can create symbols and gestures, so full gesture control. If you use 2 fingers, you can create multiple movements. Again, useful, and you can do stuff with that. You could create gesture movements in games where it requires using the touchpad itself to interact with certain mechanics of the game. You can also reset this as well. But that's not supposed to be like that, but that's a bug nevertheless. So here's my favorite one. This is the part that I've been waiting for. So this is the gyro system. This is how it's working in Unreal. As you can see, it's really responsive. So the more I move the controller about, the more you can see it actually moves up and down. Now, as you can see right there, it's level, but it doesn't look level. It's on a flat surface, but it thinks it's tilting to the right a bit. So what we do down here is we click capture motion 0, and then we click recenter tilt, and that levels out the controller. And obviously we can see there's a bit of a yaw twist, which again, this is because the controller doesn't know where it is in 3D space. So I've had to come up with a way to artificially create that 3D point in space based on how it's being moved around and whether or not it's physically sat still. And when you recenter the tilt and you calibrate it, it will determine that the position that it's resting at is the position where it's supposed to be in 3D space. So then when you pick it up, it will react according to the position where it was last recorded at. So if you pick this up now, you can move forward, you can push it down. The idea of this is for piloting controls and for piloting ships and maneuverability in games that require vehicles with more sensitive controls. So as you can see, it controls the yaw as well, and pitch level and roll as well. The yaw is more sensitive. That is supposed to be linked to a button, because the yaw is supposed to be independently controllable, which that will get added back in, like we had it working with the main part of the software. Haptics and triggers, this is my favorite one, because the haptic system now has been upgraded so we can control and have feedback on the controller itself from the haptic system. So this is a lot more advanced. So obviously it gives us waveforms on how the motor's operating. Obviously they're not real time, which will need to be fixed. But now we can have things like timed pulse, and they can operate for a certain amount of time. So if I say 2.5 seconds, it'll operate at a timed pulse and then it'll stop. We can do a pattern, and as you can see, it does different sine waves on the waveform. And if I put it, you can hear it. There's your fade out one, and that fades out perfectly. And let's just stop the haptics there. For the adaptive triggers, we can control things like frequency, start and end position, level of force that's used by the triggers. So right now you can hear them operating as standard triggers. Oh shit. Oopsie daisies. I just almost broke my phone because it fell off the fucking stand. Great. So let's put that back there. Right. So, as I was saying, with the triggers, right, so let's first turn on, oops, that was weird. Okay, yeah, so the controller briefly disconnected then. So right, so we've set it up in continuous strength. As you can hear, it's pretty stiff, 75%. We can switch to weapon click. My favorite one is the bow tension one, because what this does is it makes the triggers, when you hold them in together, it gives a nice indicator sound like you're in a car. So what that can be used is say for example you're driving a vehicle and you brake and you hold on to the brake, and say like you want to have an indicator system with some kind of feedback. You can hold the left or right button for the D-pad as your indicator, and obviously the trigger will respond, and you can actually feel the trigger moving, because it actually does. Move. Obviously that's a bit blurry there, so I don't know if you can see it on this one. But yeah, you can hear it, it does it, it makes it work. And this is another mode that I figured out and unlocked, is a vibration pulse. And what this does is this makes the triggers vibrate. Just like that. So like you can hear them vibrate, and they actually vibrate on the controller. So those are triggers. And that's exactly what the triggers do. So we've figured out how to make them and yeah, so we've figured out how to make triggers vibrate as well. And the multi-zone one is very clever, because what this allows us to do is this allows us to combine trigger haptic effects together in such a way that genuinely I don't think has been tried. Because what we can do is we have the weapon click one, where it pushes the trigger back and it slowly comes back forward, and then also it's combining the weapon bow tension effect, where you get the clicking of the trigger when you hold it all the way in. So that's like a way of letting you know that you're holding it in too far. So if you have a game that has precision measurements or precision based mechanics, this is going to really help it. Obviously you can reset them, you can set full effects, you can set extended effects, you can set section resistance, which you can individually control the resistance of each trigger, which I think is really cool. And then obviously you can reset the triggers back to normal, and it's just a standard controller then. For audio, we do have the audio working on the controller. We've got the speaker working, which is one of the big things that I wanted to get working. The microphone isn't just ready yet. The last thing that I want to set up, but if I get ambient sound here, we can control the volume of the controller as well. So what I'll do is I'll play the ambient sound of the beach on the system first. Right, and that's what it sounds like on the computer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it through the controller audio, which is this little speaker here, so you can hear it being played. Yeah, so you should be able to hear it through the controller now on the speaker. It doesn't look like it's picking it up unless I'm actually talking, so I think that might be the sound thing, but it does work and it plays the whole sample of audio. As long as it's a sound wave object, it will be able to play it in the audio panel of the controller. And obviously for profiles, we have different profiles for different things. It's just, obviously this is just an update as to the progress and how far I've come in this project. It's also fully dockable, so if we shrink down the size of Unreal Engine now, you can dock it to a full window like this, or you can actually dock it inside whilst you're working in game. And if we switch to overview and say like we go in game, this is what I think is the key feature of it, is remove the details one, we can tab it, is while we're in game we can see the controls on screen being used, and we can see the buttons being pressed and their corresponding effects, if any's been set up for it. Now, obviously, these are input actions. Again, the plugin does come with input actions and stuff already pre-mapped to basic controls such as jump, run, sprint, stuff like that. I'm really proud of what I've been able to achieve with this controller, because I really like this controller, and I believe that we can create some really truly immersive experiences just with this controller for people to really enjoy the games, because I think it's about 80% of games that have been made, even for the PlayStation platform, are not fully using the benefits of this controller and its feedback capabilities to the player. And I think if you really want to enjoy a game, you really need to feel it. You need to experience it in such a way like you're there. That's how games and media and content used to feel like. That's what it used to be. It used to be just like that, you know. So in and of itself, I think making things right like that is the better way. So, you know, if you're interested in this project and you like the idea and you like the way this is going, please like the video, leave a comment under it. You know, it'd be very much appreciated, because I'm creating this to give back, but also to demonstrate my capabilities at reverse engineering technology. Because quite frankly, to use this controller and to develop games specifically for this controller, for some reason we have to sign some kind of agreement with Sony. No, I own this controller. It's mine. I should be able to use it, and so should everybody else. If you own this controller, it's your property. You should be able to access that property. You should be able to use it however you wish, because you own it. Because it's something that's physical. It's not something that somebody can take away. Once you own it, it belongs to you. Technology is not licensed. Technology is bought and sold. It's property. Suck on that. DMCA this, DMCA that. If you're stealing videos, you're stealing people's digital content, right? There's a clear distinction. If you're stealing somebody's videos or stealing their face or their likeness, that's different. But if you're trying to make a game, or you're trying to develop something for something like this, battleships at the ready, sire. Because we got a PlayStation controller to take over. I've been the real King James. And thank you very much for giving half an hour of your time to watch this video. Please leave a like, comment and subscribe. Would be very appreciated. Thank you very much. Have a nice night.